What's up guys, it's your boy Nick here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about my 0 week experience and what exactly happens during 0 week at basic military training for the US Air Force. So just some insight, I went through 0 week and basic military training during the coronavirus pandemic. I was the first ever flight to start in Tent City, which is a bunch of tents, and the first person and flight to finish in Tent City. So at first, it all started, you get to the airport. I don't know if you checked out my last video, but you should go check that out. It's called What to Expect on Ship Day for Basic Military Training. It's on my channel. I'll link it down in the description below. Check that out and then come watch this video. It goes right along with that. So it starts immediately once you hit the terminal in the airport. You see about 2 or 3 MTIs and they just start yelling at you and they tell you to line up. They tell you to hold your bag, they tell you to get your phone out, and you get one phone call. That one phone call is about like 15 seconds max. And you're pretty much telling your family that you are now with the Air Force and they have control over you and that you got there safely, you're safe, and you're gonna call them in a few days or send them your address whenever you get the chance. We got to send our address, I think 2 days later, and then you get to start getting mail flowing through. So I wrote down everything I went through during basic military training in this notebook so I could record videos when I got to tech school. Now I finally got my tripod, I got my camera, and I'm gonna have to refer to this because this was 3 months ago at this point and it has the exact information of everything that went on. Once you get off the bus at BMT, the instant yelling starts. They start screaming at you. For me, for example, they pulled me off the bus, told me to stand right there. They were yelling, don't move, don't talk, stay still. Look straight ahead, don't turn my head, don't do all of this. So then they eventually handed me a backpack that contained all my soaps, toothbrush, toothpaste, and a sandwich to eat because I arrived at like 10:30 at night and they wanted to make sure we had food in our system. And then we got the rest of our gear about 2 to 3 days later. So if you watched my packing for Air Force BMT video, I got to use all of my stuff pretty much eventually at BMT, and I used it all for the first 2 to 3 days. So it is necessary to bring some extra clothes. It is necessary to do all of that stuff. It worked out for me. So the first week at BMT is pretty much your processing week. You're in processing. It goes on for 1 week. You get the hang of things. It's pretty much the week that you are going from a normal civilization straight into military mindset. They're changing the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you go about things, everything, the way you stand. They just start changing everything. They start yelling at you. After about 2 weeks of that, you eventually get used to it. But for the first 0 week, which is what this video is about, you will go to medical in processing and you will have a lot of shots pretty much. So we got 2 shots into each arm, which was combined 4 shots into our arms, then 1 shot into your shoulder, and then 1 shot in your butt, and it's called the peanut butter shot, and that shot hurts the most. I'm gonna make a video on it. It's pretty much, you feel the pain for the first week. It's like you got a bruise or got hit by a baseball, and it just is an annoying feeling. You have to walk it out, walk around, and over the course of like 5 days, it wears away. But that is the most annoying shot you get. And then you will take 6 blood samples. They will take 6 blood samples about that big. They'll take it all at once. People that don't like needles really hated this point, but I didn't care. They took 6 blood samples from me. And then eventually you will have a drug test, which is a urine sample. And in this urine sample, it comes back about 5 days later. If you end up failing it, you're screwed because pretty much you're about to get stuck at BMT for 5 weeks waiting just to get sent home and get kicked out of the military. We had 1 person in our flight that failed it, and he was still there when we were on our 5th week of training, and it must be a miserable feeling just knowing that, wow, I could have graduated with these people. Instead, I'm stuck here eating and just sitting in a room every day waiting to leave. Another really important thing that goes on during 0 week is bed drills. Bed drills absolutely suck. I cannot tell you how many times we did bed drills and for how long. We did bed drills for legit 3 hours straight some days. Every single time we made a bed, they'd say, I want this bed done in like 6 minutes. It has to have proper hospital corners. I don't know if you've ever been to the hospital and how nice, tight, and wrinkle-free those beds are and the perfect 45-degree angle on that hospital corner is. But if it is not like that, your bed gets tore up, thrown on the ground. pick your bed up, spin it around till you redo it all. We did bed drills for 3 hours one day. We just constantly did it. Every 6 minutes, they would have you and a wingman start doing a bed, and if it was bad, well, start over. Every 6 minutes, you're done or not, start over. Didn't matter. We did it for a 3-hour period of just bed drills straight until we were a professional at making beds. Bed drills suck, but you eventually get extremely good at making beds, and then it goes by pretty good. So every morning you wake up, you get pretty much told, start making your bed. You got 6 minutes. Besides bed drills, we also learned PT during 0 week. So at first, PT starts out really hard. It's not too bad if you prepared for BMT and worked out beforehand, but pretty much it starts off with, like, I'd say about 15 minutes of just warm-up exercises, getting your body ready for the day. And then it switches off from strength day to a run day. Run day will be a constant 30-minute run, non-stop. You're not allowed to walk, you just have to keep going. You could get up to like 5-8 miles worth of running every run day because you're just constantly running around the track. I probably do like 10-15 laps around that thing. More than that, actually, probably like 30 laps. You just run for 30 minutes. You lose track of time until they finally say you guys can stop, walk, and get ready to leave. On strength day, though, that is about 1 hour of just working out and the MTIs above your head screaming at you to keep going and that you cannot stop and that you must push yourself and keep going. Our first ever PT strength day, we went for an hour straight with no breaks, and people were just dying on the floor, laying there. They could not push out another push-up, another sit-up, anything. It really they just destroy your body until they build you back up and make you stronger. Every single day, you will have either a PT run day or a PT strength day. It usually switches off one by one. You do one every other day. And then after a couple weeks, you're like, this is easy. After that, they hand you this memory work, and memory work consists of a list of sergeants and team members, their names, their ranks, everything about them. It's about like 30 people long on top of another 15 that are in your chain of command. And you're forced to remember these names, and like, they want you to have it down like that. They come, they quiz you. If you get it wrong, they start screaming at you. They want your memory going good. They want you to be smart in the Air Force. They pretty much quizzed me on it my whole flight. They would pull us out of where we're staying. They would say, what's this, what's that? We only been there 2 days. We're getting used to everything. They're still screaming at us, and this goes on for like 4 weeks with this memory work stuff. Every free chance you get, they're telling you to pull out your memory work and start studying it. So we're there like this, pretty much studying our memory work, waiting to go to eat breakfast, waiting to eat lunch, waiting to eat dinner. You're legit doing stuff for 16 hours every day for the first week, and pretty much the entire time at BMT in general. So it would be very beneficial if you learn ranks before going. And the other two things that are extremely important to remember is the Airman's Creed and the Airman Song. They have you singing that and reciting it every single day while you're there. So that was some very important stuff to know. So that, ranks, Airman's Creed, ranks, and Airman Song. You're gonna be quizzed on that and told it every single day until you get it right. And it's a horrible experience if you're getting that wrong. You'll be getting screamed at saying, what is wrong with you? You can't remember this, you can't do that. And then after that, they start teaching you how to fold socks, shirts, duffel bag, towels. Pretty much, it's called the RLA standards, which is your recruit living area. They'll come over to my foot locker or my locker, and if I have one thing wrong, out, another thing out, they end up throwing your entire area out and making you refold all of these socks. You gotta roll it up to a tight ball. You have to make it look nice. You can't have any strings on it, any cloth, anything on it, no dust, no nothing, or it's getting thrown out and you're having to redo the entire thing. We'd come back in from being out at Chow or marching or doing some type of in-processing stuff to our entire foot locker thrown out and told us to redo it. So they'll show you one time how to do it, give you your BMTSG, which is a study guide, and say flip to the page, and you have to figure out exactly how to do this, and you have to get it right. Over time, you will become amazing at it. It's just how it goes, but that is a really important thing. So I would say, based on what I got written down here, I said that it's stressful. There's lots of yelling constantly. yelling all day long. There's kids going to sleep saying that they're hearing people yell in their ears in the middle of the night and there's no one up. And one guy asked our drill sergeant or our MTI why he keeps hearing people get yelled at in the middle of the night, and it was pretty much just all in his mind. The MTI said, nobody's up at 2 a.m. I don't know why you're hearing that. It's because he's been getting constantly yelled at and he just can't get it out of his mind, because you're going from legit civilian doing whatever you want to getting constantly yelled at and told exactly what to do. So the next important thing of 0 week, you learn Chow formation. You go to Chow 3 times a day, early in the morning, middle like 11 o'clock, and then at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Chow formation is you go to Chow, you're not allowed to speak in the cafeteria, you're not allowed to talk, you're not allowed to speak, you're not allowed to walk, you have to sidestep, get your food, sit down, you got 10 minutes to eat it and get out. And you have to, they have a certain way, you walk to the wall, turn left, throw your food away, wait for a wingman, and then march back to formation, and you stand there until everyone's done, and then you leave. So Chow formation, it's honestly one of the best times of the day unless you're Chow runner. If you're Chow runner, you have to go up, do all these marching procedures, and then send your flight in. I never did Chow runner because I hated marching and I was not going to put myself in a position to get screamed at by like 6 people. One time I dropped my hat on the floor while leaving the cafeteria. Noticed the hat was not in my pocket the second I left the door, turned around, and all the officers and my MTIs had the hat. I had to go get it from them, and it was just horrible. They were just screaming at me and surrounded me, screaming at me, saying, why is it always you? Why are you doing your own thing? Get your hat and get out of here and all this. So never did that again. So your sleep schedule once you get there is you're waking up every day at 4:45 a.m. and you're going to sleep at 8 p.m. and you constantly work for that 16 hours, whatever it is, like 15, 16 hours. You're constantly doing stuff, constantly studying, constantly learning new things. And then Sunday approaches. This is the last day of 0 week, the last day of every week. So Sunday, the MTIs are gone. It's your freedom. You finally don't have to get yelled at. You finally get to relax and get used to things. So Sunday, your first Sunday is a test. So they're pretty much giving you this freedom, seeing how you react. On our first Sunday, 3 people got caught sleeping and laying down. I forgot who it was. It was the person in charge of, it was the instructor's instructor that came by to check on it to make sure all the flights were doing the right thing. He caught 3 people sleeping, and it was just hell the next 2 or 3 days because the instructors got in trouble for our flight messing up, and they just took it all out on us. So the first Sunday is a test. You don't want to mess that up because then they might be strict on you the rest of the time and just won't end well. And then pretty much around 3 days into 0 week, they start giving you privileges to write your family, write home, but they're only going to give you 10 minutes to read and write mail. So if there's no way to do it both in the same time. You'll end up having to sneak letters here and there, and then if you get caught, you're in so much trouble. So they give you about 10 minutes to write home to your family, do all that. And if you get a long letter and you're reading it, by the time that 10 minutes is up, you're not even allowed to write a letter because they're poking their head back in there and they're making sure you're doing the right thing. People get caught writing letters, they get screamed at, they get sent to talk to people, and then you're in for a rude awakening for the next week. So it's just horrible. So I would say 0 week is the most stressful and getting used to week in the military. After you pass about 2 weeks in, you start realizing, well, this isn't that bad. It doesn't suck that much. So if this video helped you out, or if you have any other questions regarding 0 week, comment it down below in the comment section and I'll be sure to answer them. Also, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. I'll be bringing you more videos soon. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys later.